Hey crafty friends, it's Alyssa with Crafting to Cope, and I'm on today with a project share and a tutorial. So as part of my craft fair series, I am making nail file favors. And so this is something I do every year for my craft fair. They're just something really fun I can put on my table, things that I can share with my girlfriends. These things are all over the place. Everybody does them different. They're kind of a classic, but I like to do them every year. So this year I wanted to do some that were more kind of vintage, the pink, the bows, just kind of like the more kind of pretty pink Christmas. In the past, I have done these ones that are more traditional colors. So I still have some of these left that I'm going to put in this year's craft fair, but I wanted to use some of these with like the vintage and then like the pink, like the vintage Santa with the pink. Let's see. This one has like the bows and just so cute. And so what I did is I used just a 6x6 paper pad for the decor on here, and I cut out all the cut aparts to use on the front of my nail file favors. And so these are the ones I've made so far. I just sit down here in my craft room and kind of mass produce them. It's pretty quick. I can get them all done in just a matter of a little bit of time, one day. And I watch my friends' videos on YouTube while I do it. So I'm going to go through with you the things that you're going to need. So obviously you're going to need things like a scoreboard, a paper trimmer. I also use a corner rounder, this tool for scoring and for burnishing. I always have a pair of scissors on hand, something to get the backing off your tape, and then I'm going to use this tape, so a pokey tool, or I just grabbed whatever I could find. I'm also going to use wet glue, so I use the Sweet Petunia glue press, and then I use art glitter glue on mine, so I'm going to use 2 forms of glue on mine. I also package mine in these pretzel bags that I get on Amazon. I love these bags. I order them in like 200 off of Amazon, and I use them for my pencil packs, my nail file favors, my Hershey nuggets. I go through so many of these bags. And then you're going to need nail files. I ordered these fun ones off of Amazon, and I think it was a 40 pack, and my plan is to just make them all, because again, if I don't sell them, this is something I can hang on to for next year, and if I need to add some, I can add some, which is what I'm doing this year. They just kind of last. They also make great gifts for, your girlfriends, your family, stocking stuffers, those types of things. And then you're going to need some sort of paper. So I have been using this Holly Jolly collection. I have a little bit left, so we're going to use the Holly Jolly collection, and then something to embellish it with. So I do have a sticker book here, but what I did do is I cut all these little tiny cut aparts out of the pages in the pad, and so I'm going to use those. And then I have some cute little bows that I thought I could add to some if I ran out of cut aparts. I love these little bows. I ordered them in this big, huge bag of, I think it's 300, and it comes in all different, shades of red and green, and then buffalo check, white and black. I am not a bow, I cannot make a bow to save my life. So I cheat and I order these cute little bows and I use them on my projects. I have pastel ones, Christmas ones. I got all the bows. So then we're going to need 1 piece of cardstock to get started. And I'm going to use the Christmas solids that I got from Michael's because they match this pad perfectly. So I'm just going to pull out a color. So let's go with pink. I'm going to pull out 1 sheet of 12 by 12. And then what we're going to do is I am going to set all this aside because I'm running out of room. We're going to first trim this piece of paper. And I will put the cuts down below. This is so easy. It is just something that you can really mass produce. You're just going to take, oh, I'm shedding. That's a piece of my hair. Sorry. And another one. It must be winter shedding time. You're going to take your 12 by 12 and you're going to make 1 cut, and you're going to cut it in 11 and a half. And then I'm going to just set my cutter aside for right now because we do have one score to make. And I like to do my, you can do it either way. I like to do my scoring now because then I only have to score once. So this is your 11.5 side here. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it. So it's 12 by 12 up here and your 11.5 is right here. And we are just going to score this at 3 1/4. So then you only have to score one time. So I'm going to score that. Then I'm done with my scoreboard and I'm going to take my paper cutter back out. And what I'm going to do is I am going to make sure my score is down here at the bottom. And I'm going to start cutting the strips. So what we're going to do is cut these strips. So you see the scores right here. And this is where it folds up. So we want to make sure the score is down here. And we are going to start making strips to make the little nail file pockets. And so each strip is going to be 1 3/4 inches. So I'm just going to line it up and cut my strips. And so you can get quite a few out of one sheet of paper. So that's why I only score once, because otherwise you have to sit and score each one of these. And when you're trying, you know, like I ordered 40 nail files, I really just want to get them all done and then have them ready in my craft fair for, hopefully I sell them this year, but if I don't, if I have a few left, I just put them in, you know, like I have a few left from last year. So I'm just going to put it in my tub and I save it. And then next year, if I want to make more, then I have a few of different designs. So out of that 12 by 12 sheet of paper, we did get, let's see how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these. So then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to pick your pieces of paper that you want to do. So I'm going to take these two out. And again, I just use 6 by 6 paper. It's just easier for me. I feel like there's less waste. And so we can get 3 sets out of 2 6 by 6 pieces of paper. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your 6 by 6 piece of paper. The first one you're going to cut to 5 1/2. So I'm just going to cut that to 5 1/2. Then we're going to turn it and we are going to cut 3 strips at 1 3/4. And then you just have this offcut. Then you're going to take your next paper and you are going to cut that at 3 and let me make sure I got this right. 3 1/8. And then you're going to turn it and cut it at 1 3/4. And then you have these offcuts. And then I still have this piece left, which I can use for something else. So I just save that. Now we're done with our cutter. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to move some of this out of my way. I'm going to grab, I have all these little folders that I made up in all the different colors. I'm going to take a pink one since that's what we cut. I am going to take one of these long ones. And here I just use glue. I'm just going to put glue right here on the back. And this is double-sided paper, so once you cut them out, you could do one with this side and one with that side. I'm just going to start with these little ornaments. And then I just am going to line it up at the top and the sides and push. Down here is where your score line is, so you don't want to cover that. Okay, so then that part is on here. Now you're going to take one of the little ones and we're going to put that right here. So what you want to do is, if it's directional, you want to pay attention to what you're doing. So usually I just fold it up to make sure I have it right. And I just put my glue right on here. And you just need a little bit of glue. All right. And then I'm going to put this one. I like the wet glue because I can kind of move it around to make sure it's lined up. See? And then you'll see there's just a little pink showing here, which is cute. And then after that, what we're gonna do is I use 2 types of adhesive here, because once I put the nail file in here, I don't want it to pop open. So I use just this double-sided tape, which you can get this tape. I order mine off Amazon. You can also get it at Hobby Lobby. I think Dollar Tree used to have it sometimes. I never see it there anymore, but I just order mine off of Amazon. And so I'm just going to put a thin, I think it's, I'll look it up. I think it's a 1/4 inch on each side of the pocket, as close to the edge as I can, because I want to make sure I have enough room in here for my nail file to fit. And then I just trim it off. Then I want to burnish it really well to make sure it sticks. Then use a pokey tool, or I think this is for quilling, but whatever. I just grabbed it. Take off the backing. And then again, I said I really like double adhesive here. I just put a bead of glue right over the top of that tape, because then I have double adhesive. And then what I'm going to do is just line it up, and then I'm going to burnish it. And I'm doing this because I really want it to stick down when I put that nail file in there. So what I'm going to do now is kind of dig through and decide, you know, what cute little embellishment I want to put on the front. I think I might put this cute little kitty. Like I said, you could also do, you know, little bows as an embellishment. Maybe we'll do one of each. Let's see what that looks like. So I'm going to do one of each. And so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here on the back. Again, this is just a decoration. And I'm going to put this one kind of low, because I would like to put my bow right above it. So then just figure out where you want your bow. And here, I'm just going to put a little art glitter glue right on it. You can use a hot glue gun too if you really want, but I'm just going to put art glitter glue right on it, and then give it a minute to dry. It's so cute. And while I do that, I'm just going to pick out which cute nail file I want to put in there. I think I'll put the pink one in there. I usually let these dry for a little bit before I go and put in the nail file, because I want to make sure that these sides adhered really well. But for the sake of the video, I will just put it in there, and if it pops open, I'll show you how I fix that problem. So just make sure if you have a design on your nail file that you have it going the right way. Just open it up, and then just kind of, it's going to be a tight squeeze, but you just put it right in there. And then the other thing I like to do is I like to round these corners up here. I just think it gives it more of a finished look. So I'm just going to take my corner rounder, put that in there, and round those corners. All right. Then the last thing we have to do is package this up. So again, these pretzel bags is what they are. I just love these. I use so many of them every year. So all you're going to do is these have adhesive on them. You're going to take your cute little nail file, and you are going to feed it right into this bag. Be careful of your bow. I'm not even sure if it's dry yet, but let's find out. We're going to poke that down. Then you just take off this little strip. These are staticky. I always keep a dryer sheet by me because they never leave your finger. But I got a tip from someone else that said if you keep like a lint roller by you, you can just stick them on there. So I just keep this little dryer sheet over here to take it off. So now you'll see this one is all done, and it has this cute little bow, and it's all ready to go. So I just put it in the container with all my rest of them, and they are ready to go to my craft fair. So again, these are the fun nail file favors. They are so fun to make, so easy. I just sit and do one after another, just like this. So I will start working on my next one while I'm talking to you. I will link everything down below, and I also will link my pencil pack video, because you could also make these the same way I made the pencil packs if you wanted. I just really thought they were cute this way this year, so that's what I decided to do. But they are super easy to make. As you can see, you can just make them while you're talking. You can make them while you're visiting. You can make them while you're watching TV. They're so easy. I will link everything down below, and then if you have any questions, you can let me know. I will tell you a little bit about pricing. So I do a lot of my favors like this for $3 or 2 for $5. I do make money on them still because I buy a lot of things in bulk, which again, I'll share with you below. But I do usually sell them for $3 or 2 for $5. And I usually let people mix and match amongst all my little favors that I make. So like tea favors, hot cocoa packets, those types of things. I do the 2 for $5 or $3 a piece. And I do get a lot of people that like to buy them. Like I've had people come up and buy like 10 nail file folders. And what they do is I think they give them to like their granddaughters or their girlfriends or things like that. And it's just a lot of fun. So again, this is my quick little tutorial. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you have a great day, everyone. Bye.